Good evening, everyone. This is the 350 out of my 77 GMC. This is just a quick update of what I've been doing. I gave it a quick wash with solvent to clean off all the major crud, and it turned out quite nice. I took a wire wheel to it, got it down to mostly bare cast, but I just have to get a die grinder in the smaller areas. But what I wanted to focus on was engine detailing. You hear people talk about detailing engines and detailing mechanical parts in general. What that means is to go inside of a mechanical object and to go over all the rough edges and smooth them over, like all the sharp edges around the china rail here, along the top deck surface and all that, so it's not sharp. But also what that can mean is to clean up the oil passages and deburr the block. And as you can see, that there's all the shiny areas on this side of the engine have had the treatment of deburring. You can see here there's quite a large oil return passage. I could barely get a push rod or a pencil through there. So on my initial inspection I noted that, and there's quite a bit of casting flash inside. So I just took my die grinder and went to town on it, opened it up and cleaned it up. You got to be careful. There is a casting that you can see a visual outline of where this port was and was supposed to be, but due to the mass production of the casting process, it was just left. But this is an area that needs to be done, so I left it. You can see that I could barely get my finger in here, and that's an oil return. But the area behind it's quite large, so to take the die grinder and clean that area out and smooth off any of these passages to promote oil flow into the lifter valleys and into the return passages is basically what I'm doing here. Also, there can be some casting inclusions, which is a mixture of slag, iron, and a bunch of garbage. And that's another reason for me doing this also. So as you can see, this is quite a squared off return, and there's a lot of slag and crap. Mind the garbage, I have to bottle brush it. And all that. It's quite rough. And what I've done on this side is smooth the passageway out, including back into the timing area here. So I have to go to the face side of it and perform the same procedure, but it's quite basic. Just take your time and don't go too hard on it. You don't want to go into a water jacket or anything or get into an oil passage. It's an easy process. It's time consuming, and a lot of engine builders that just slap these together don't bother to do this. But what happens under high RPM is sometimes the oil doesn't get all the oil doesn't return back to the pan. Excuse me. And this is one of the reasons. One of the culprits is blocked off oil returns. So all I've done is smooth the pathways back to the return. And I'll show you what a casting inclusion looks like. Where is one? One right here. And that's just a ball of garbage. So I want to get in here with a die grinder burr. It's falling off. It's crumbling away. And all these sharp areas here that are called stress risers, they're all going to be removed. As you can see, I've removed all the oil galley plugs for bottle brush cleaning and doing a proper job of cleaning. You have to do that when you do what I'm doing. But all the returns, this is from the cam side or the lifter valley. I want to smooth that out so it promotes free oil flow. But other than that, it's not a hard process. It's just time consuming. That's the back side of it. But there was a lot of casting flash that was in here, and it was falling down just touching it, and it still is. And I can see that on this side also. There's a little ball there that'll fall in, and that'll eventually end up in the oil pan, and we don't want that. Regardless of this being a budget build, it was just something to show you as a high performance tip on the major budget. It's just things that you can do, and when the time comes to have this engine properly overhauled, which means boring the block out and line honing it if it needs it, etc., this job's already done, and it just saves you a few dollars at the end of the day. So anyways, just a quick update. I'll carry on with the cleaning and deburring of the block. I'll also be deburring the outside of the block. It was quite sharp. There's stress risers which can lead to cracks, but it's aesthetic for me and for handling purposes, because this engine will be in and out of the vehicle several times, And I figured, well, let's clean it up and make it a little bit more presentable and easier to handle. That's what this is all about. So there's more than one way to determine or define detailing. It could be waxing and washing, it could be paint, or it can be oil promotion in this case, which is just deflashing the block. And the same will be said on the flip side. All the sharp edges on the rotating side will be done also. There's quite a few in this particular casting, and it's not uncommon. Just take your time, like I said. Don't go full bore on it and get into a water jacket or an oil galley. That'll really ruin your day. Anyways, thank you for watching, and we'll continue on here. Bye-bye.